Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Snow White with the Red Hair, Chapter 122. When we last left our heroes, Tsuruba had shown up to rescue Eisetsu from the mysterious bandits that we didn't really find out too much info about last time. And a mysterious archer started shooting at them after the attack, kind of led Eisetsu to trip and fall down a hill, where he then had a long, vivid flashback about how he knows Kageya. We found out that Kageya had been a gardener at some manor that had burned down. Eisetsu had found her on the side of the road, given her a job, kind of fallen in love with her. She was a widow. There were these rumors that she was going to marry him for his wealth. The rumors were not good for a young lord, and so Eisetsu's father had him send Kageya away, and he has no idea why she would ever work with Toka Burgat. Then he wakes up. He goes on this long rant about how he's like an awful person, and Obi and Shirayuki just like both shoot him down and cut that edgy me in high school bullshit out. And then there's a quick bit about Tsuruba saying that he has some idea what the attack was about, but now they kind of realize that Kageya, now knowing that Yozumi, who is somehow related to her, is at Eisetsu's manor, she might go there, and then Ryu and Shuu could be in danger, so now our trio, I think, are going to go there. Eisetsu, there's this moment at the end of the chapter when Shirayuki offers Eisetsu a high five, and he, like, grabs the hand, which I think is, like, even more determined than the high five, but it's a little bit unclear. So yeah, that very, very long recap out of the way. Let's jump right into chapter 122. We see we have the cover of Lala this month. As Shirayuki, he's Shirayuki in like a kind of blue gown, only from like the waist up, dancing in like I'm guessing spring cherry blossom vibes. Anyway, we open with what I'm assuming is Eisetsu talking. I don't know what Lady Kageya is doing, but she's probably in trouble. If she's in trouble, I'll help her. And we're right where we left off. He's still holding Shirayuki's hand. I don't want to get Shuu or Ryu involved, so I need your help. And so yeah, we see here, you know, even if he's worried they're gonna think he's just being selfish, he's still gonna reach out, which is a distinct turn from what we saw last time. It's everyone kind of takes in Eisetsu's request, and Shirayuki grabs his hand right back, and Eisetsu looks at it. And she just smiles up at him, and she offers her hand again. Oh no, that's Obi offering his hand. And Eisetsu looks at it, and Obi helps him up. And then we cut to Tsuruba. I think he's having a flashback to when Toka enlisted him and Tariga's help. With Toka's whole insurrection scheme. I forget the exact details of that arc. I only remember it was pretty much kind of my least favorite arc in the series. But if I'm misreading, I remember that Toka wore a lot of white, and the twins wore a lot of black. And so that's what I think is going on there. And I think what we're supposed to get is that this is a much more honest, genuine partnership than compared to Toka's manipulations. I think I'm reading that right. But anyway, Tsuruba smiles at this display. And then Tsuruba goes to deal with the attackers. And he tells them, you take care too. Yep, see you again. And Tsuruba rides off, and Obi turns back to the group. Well then, let's go. And they all ride off back towards Regalia Manor. And now we finally have our cover page. We have Obi just like in this thinking pose. I like the sort of shawl-looking thing he has going on. A situation and those concerned with several idiosyncrasies. Okay. A situation and those concerned with several idiosyncrasies. That kind of means nothing. A situation and those concerned describes every story ever written. Several idiosyncrasies is at least some uniqueness, but not really. Okay, that's a blurb, I guess. It's got to be the most generic blurb I've ever seen, but it's a blurb. Okay, moving on. So they're all writing, and Obi asks Eisetsu, "Where does Lady Kaguya live? Can you tell us the fastest way to her house?" "I don't know." "Huh?" "Lady Kaguya worked at our manor, and for various reasons I put distance between us. So I wouldn't look into where she went or what she was doing. I was full of regret." Did he not tell them? Because I thought there was that moment around page 30 last chapter that's very clearly Eisetsu laying out what happened. Um, but I guess they didn't realize that he hasn't seen her or heard from her in a few years. Or maybe it's like Obi at least expected Eisetsu had heard what was going on, or had kept tabs on her. I mean, I was full of regret. And Obi is just, I think we're full of regret with this too. He's just so tired. He's so done. Right, young miss? And Shirayuki is silent, and then Eisetsu just, "It's fine, it's true, I know." And then Eisetsu pauses for a minute. "Her eyes have changed. She hates me now. And if it were just the way she looked at me, that would be fine. But it would be optimistic of me." I'm curious, so hold on. How did he get, like, I mean, I guess she did stab him, is a good way of telling if someone hates you now. But I don't know, that line feels kind of weird. Anyway, the sun rises, it's now morning, they made it back to the manor. "We're back! Shuu! 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 Where's Shuu?" Poor Ryu, they're completely leaving Ryu out there. Um, and Shu's just stunned at their fervor. "Well, welcome back, Lord Eisetsu." Um, oh no, it's not. Because some of the other servants. And Eisetsu repeats what he's heard. Sir Yozumi came, the three of them left? Yeah, that's a bad sign. I feel like that's a bad sign. When? Where did they go? Early this morning, to Sir Yozumi's home. They said they'd be home by evening. Yeah, that's trouble. That is trouble. When they departed, Sir Ryu left this message for Lady Shirayuki. Um, and then Shirayuki reads it. "It's from Yuzuri. She found it. How the perfume works." Um, okay. So I'm trying to remember if Yuzuri told us how the perfume. Yeah. We did. We know that it's the smell, and then you think it's attraction to the person, but it's actually attraction to the perfume. Right. That's all been laid out. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so they all go racing back to Yozumi's house. Um, and Eisetsu asks, "There was a woman who wore the perfume purposely to get close to Yozumi, correct?" "Yes." Speaking of all this, I kind of just realized we didn't really keep tabs or get any kind of update on the light haired woman from the soiree. I'm curious if we're gonna go back to that. Anyway, purposely to get close to Yozumi, correct? Yes. In that case, they definitely know what the perfume does. They're forcefully bringing people to obsession. They would know I couldn't overlook it once I found out that Sir Yosumi was intoxicated. Indeed, they probably knew we're in the midst of handling another situation. So yeah, we still don't really know who that person was, especially if, I think there was initially the implication that Yozumi's lover was Madame Lyra. But if Madame Lyra is another Elise, then they're at least relatives, if not siblings. So it's probably not Kageya, which means there's another person with this perfume running around. I don't know. And then Obi kind of clarifies. Even so, they likely don't see it as another situation. The fact of the matter is that Toka, Madame Lyra, and the perfume are all connected. And Eisetsu is kind of stunned at that, but then realizes that Obi's right. That's true. And Lady Kageya is connected to it all. And Shirayuki pauses, seemingly thinking back to what the light-haired woman said. An antidote. Is it for the perfume? And then Obi kind of looks back at her, and then Shirayuki calls up, "Lord Eisetsu, Miss Kageya, does she have any area of specialty?" Right, because as a guard, given that Shirayuki's a pharmacist and Kage as a gardener, there might be some kind of overlap there, especially because medicine in this world would generally be kind of herbal. Anyway, She's a gardener. She's knowledgeable about plants. Oh, he didn't even tell. How much did Eisetsu tell them? How much did he just say? Oh yeah, this woman I know. Like how much detail? He didn't even tell. He didn't even say that part. He didn't even say that she was a gardener. You should have led with that. You know that Shirayuki works with plants. You should work with that. God damn, a gardener. She's knowledgeable about plants. And then they continue on their way as Shirayuki kind of lets that knowledge sink in. Um, and then Obi watches the trail for a minute, and then Eisetsu calls back to him, Sir Obi? And Obi just kind of trots down off the path. Let's go this way. Oh, is it because the path is kind of winding and they can just sort of cut through it? Maybe, I don't know. But they're in the woods actually, and Eisetsu looks around. It's dark. And Obi notes like a splash of blood on a rock. He looks at it. Blood. And Eisetsu, blood? And then Shirayuki gets off the horse and she picks up like a flower. Young miss. And then she looks up. Oh, it's Ryu's I forget what it's for, but it's kind of like ID. Ryu. That's bad. That's a bad sign. I'm gonna go on a limb and say Yosumi betrayed them, or he's being brainwashed by whoever was using the perfume. And then we have a flashback. I'm gonna guess this is going to be to when Yosumi showed up at Regalia Manor. Tomorrow morning. Shall we go out for a bit? Yeah, that is Yosumi. And Shuu asks him, did something happen? Lord Eisetsu and the rest should be home tomorrow. And Yosumi says, I wanted to visit home. I thought I might see my mother before the investigation. It'll be very difficult for me to contact her with any regularity soon. Yeah, that's not even subtle. That's not even subtle, boy. Once I see her, I'll be able to put all my attention to this matter. Is that so? And Shuu kind of thinks about it for a minute, and Yosumi asks, Sir Shuu? Yes. Just hold on a moment. Sir Yosumi, is it possible you have a sister? Oh, right, because he knows Kageya. He should, be familiar with this. No, a relative. Is there someone by the name of Kageya in your acquaintance? Kageya Elise? Yes, that's correct. That's my mother's name. Do you know her somehow? How long ago was that flashback? I thought that flashback wasn't that long ago. But how old is Eisetsu? Because I thought Eisetsu was Shirayuki's in her early 20s or something. I figured Eisetsu would be in his early to mid 30s. But if he was in love with a woman who, in present day, has, either a late teen, early 20s son, that, I don't know. How long ago was that flashback? But also, his mother. Okay. Another interesting thing to note, though, is that if Yosumi is somehow in on this plot, for some reason, he doesn't seem to be aware of that. Because, if Kageya is Madame Lyra, right, which she is, we know that by now, then the fact and if Yosumi is an active part of the Madame Lyra conspiracy, then he shouldn't be so willing to just drop his mother's name. It's genuine shock when he says, that's my mother's name. Do you know her somehow? I don't know. Let's keep reading. And Shuu was just stunned. And Ryu was kind of questioning at that. And Ryu and Yosumi have this moment where they just look at each other, not understanding Shu's reaction at all. And Yosumi looks at him. Yes. And Shuu waves them off. Just hold on a moment. And Shuu is just what the fuck? What the fuck am I doing here? Oh fuck, this is bad. And then he looks up at Yosumi. Would you mind if I accompanied you? She may be someone I used to know. I would like to say hello. I wouldn't mind. It's certainly a coincidence. She shouldn't have been much older than me. Exactly. That's what I was saying. Okay. I'm very happy that there's some kind of acknowledgement that this is weird. In that case, she's not old enough to be my mother. She's not my biological mother, but instead my father's second wife. She raised me, though. Okay. And Shuu is so relieved by that he, like, collapses. But that's interesting. Because assuming that... because assuming that this society, given as it is based on a sort of late medieval European, assuming that in this society, family names are patrilineal, right? Passed down through the father, the wife takes the husband's name. Kageya, Yosumi, the Elise last name, must come from Yosumi's father. And therefore, Kageya would have only taken the name after she married Yosumi's father. Then Yosumi's father dies, and that whole time, those whole years, I think, she was working with the Rugilias, she had a stepson that was never mentioned. Like, okay, that's interesting. Alright, that's a lot. I'm trying to, like, make this work in my own personal timeline, and it's not quite clicking. Anyway, after a minute, Shuu collects himself. If we're headed out, we should let the captain know. With Sir Ryu here, I'm sure he'll be understanding. With Ryu here? Because Ryu seems to have left with y'all. Will you go with us? It should be nice to have a change of scenery. Okay, so yeah. Sure, I'll go. I don't really want to be left behind. It's uncomfortable. Hahaha. It would be fine if you wanted to lock yourself away in the library with a stockpile of tea and bread. And Ryu just kind of looks at him. I'm kidding. Shall we then? And Yozumi smiles. My mother loves company. They set out in the morning. We see Yozumi is looking out the window. For a second there I thought kind of uncomfortable, but I think he's just kind of passive. Ryu is just asleep. And as they're traveling, someone, like, stops them on the side of the road. Apologies. Can I get directions? Certainly. But we see there's someone standing in the branch behind him. We hear a bang as he's knocked out or killed or something. And Shuu looks questioningly. What was that? And Yozumi answers, we seem to have stopped. Oh. Either... So, yeah, someone's taking over the carriage. For a second there, I thought, like, they just let the horse go and they were just gonna, like, fall off a cliff or something. But, like, it's so loud, Ryu kind of wakes up, and Shuu asks, Sir Yozumi, did you inform the driver as to a shortcut? No. And then we hear, it's it's still loud, and Shuu kind of, like, opens up a curtain to see the driver, and you see the driver is slumped over. The driver is slumped over. What? Someone is driving the horses. And Ryu wakes up. Huh? What are you... and they finally stop. In the woods, presumably close to where Shirayuki and the gang are now. And they all, like, look out the window, nervous. They don't know what's coming next. And after a minute, Shuu kind of, like, works up the nerve and says, Sir Yozumi, tell me, your lover, what house does she hail from? Right, because they didn't actually answer this question last time. I think this was raised, but he was like, I can't tell you who it is. So it's probably going to be a Bergat. And Yozumi finally answers, she's... And then the door opens, and we don't get to find out. As one of the bandits says to them, like points his sword into the carriage. Put down your weapons and step outside. And they all get out. They just kind of stand by the carriage. The bandits all look at them. Shuu is clearly a little bit nervous. And he sees someone in the carriage. Or someone in a... No, I think it's the driver is dead, maybe? I think? I don't know. Something about that outfit looks like a dress. And the driver was a man. So... Oh, no, sorry, I'm misreading it. I missed looking at it. Yeah, it is the driver. So what's going on is he's kind of slumped over like this. I thought he was kind of laying back like this. I don't know if you can really see me in the video. Yeah, like that. And this, like, I think is the horse. I thought it was like the skirt of a dress. But no. Anyway. But yeah, he's probably dead, I'm guessing. And we see the bandit, who I'm gonna guess is the same bandit that Suraba fought off last time. But anyway, the bandit readies his sword, and just then, some folks just like ride on by on their horses and ask, "Oh there, everything all right?" And the bandits are like shocked. "We saw your carriage pick up speed suddenly back there. We thought maybe you lost control of the horses." And these two travelers very quickly realize what's going wrong. And the one traveler who was not talking is just, "Hey, let's go." And I guess the bandit leader says, "Chase them." But right as one of them goes to chase them, Shuu like kicks him in the nuts, I think. And Yozumi pulls a dagger out of his pants leg and stabs another one in the thigh. And then Shuu hands Ryu a book and that same ID tag, and they fall to the ground. And the three of them all run off. So Ryu has not been captured; he's just running off in the woods somewhere. But we see Yozumi like step on a tree branch. We hear a really loud snap, and he kind of hangs back. And Ryu hears some talking or some like fighting in the background. And Shuu kind of grabs onto him. "Sir Ryu, hide here. Once they've passed, run away." Okay, so they've like hidden in some kind of crater. The three of them together. And Yozumi tells them, "The sword in that thief's hand was from my circle of knights. They must have attacked the driver with it. They're likely after me. Take this." He hands like a dagger or something. "We'll buy time." And Ryu is stunned. But, and Shuu smiles at him. "I'm sorry. I'm not strong enough to fight and protect you at once, but I will use my life to keep you safe." They're not actually going to die here, are they? That's not the kind of thing this series does. And then Shuu tells him, "Don't act rashly." And the two of them head off to try to hold off the bandits. And Ryu is just kind of... Yeah, this isn't something Ryu's ever really dealt with before. He's largely just been, dealing with a bit more academic setting. And we see he's not really taken to it well. And he holds on to the dagger, and he notices, "What? My book?" He realizes that he dropped the book. What do I do? And then he thinks of the ID tag he also dropped. "Shirayuki, Obi, Chief." And he looks around, and he runs away, just like he was told to do. And he makes it to, I guess, like the edge of the forest. But he hears a horse ride by, and he sees a boy and a girl, probably around his age, riding a horse together, singing, having no idea the horror is going on in the forest to their right. And he has a sudden thought, "Chase them." But then he just hides. Or maybe he's thinking about the bandit saying to chase them, I think. Was that line uttered back there? Oh, yeah, it's what they said about the other passerby from earlier. And so he can't bring himself to do it. And then he thinks, the Night Circle. What? What about the Night Circle? Is he going to go to the Night Circle who had the sword that attacked him? Is the implication there that Yosumi's Night Circle are the bandits, or that they attacked the knights, or that the bandits attacked the knights and then stole their sword, or one of their swords? I'm not entirely sure. I feel like Yosumi would not imagine his knights would do that to him, and so he thinks it's definitely the bandits attacked his knights. But given the kind of upper crust folks in this conspiracy, maybe the knights are in on it somehow. I don't know. But he runs towards the Night Circle. We see a carriage. Someone gets out of the carriage. That might be Kageya. Thank you. Yeah, it is Kageya. And she spots Ryu. I guess this is at the Night Circle. And Ryu is like run all the way there. And Kageya comes over to him. "Are you okay? What happened?" And does Kageya still have the perfume on? That could be bad. And then he's very much out of breath. "The town's night, sir." "Calm down. Some water." And just then, two guys approach, and we hear a whoosh, cut to black, to be continued April 24th. Okay, there's a lot in that final section that I don't quite follow, and I hope just seeing what happens next will be able to make a bit more sense of it. Because my first thought would be that this is the Night Circle. The Night Circle are the bandits. That's what Suraba noticed when he saw something at the beginning of last chapter. It must have been the sword that Yozumi says is his group sword. He went back there. Ryu went back there, where Kageya also is for some reason. We don't really know why yet, because Kageya is very much shrouded in mystery. And then the knights came and attacked him. But specifically, the reason Ryu says the town's Night Circle. And I don't know why he would say that, if that's where he was. I don't know. But I do think the implication is that the knights are the bandits working for Toka Burgat. Maybe I don't know, because if Kageya, I'm trying to work out how Kageya in that last scene fits into this grand conspiracy. If the knights are the bandits, right, then Kageya and the bandits are working with Toka Burgat in the Madame Lyra conspiracy, and Kageya is a willing member of that conspiracy as Madame Lyra. Though that would explain why Kageya is at the Night Circle there. Sure, it would not explain why she goes to help this, or maybe she just wants to help the kid. Maybe, as Sudaba said last time, Toka doesn't only target bad people. And Kageya just doesn't know that Ryu is part of this sort of anti-Lyra faction. Does not know that he's working to just put a stop to the Perfume. And it's just kind of her own natural goodness that Eisetsu alluded to last time, to want to help this boy. But then I don't know how to take that last page. Like, Kageya looks even more scared than Ryu in that final panel. So, I don't know. There might be a much simpler reading that I'm completely ignoring or missing. But yeah, this was, by and large, a real good chapter. A really, I don't know, getting that Kageya is Yosumi's mother reveal. That sure is something. And I love Shu's reactions to that. His, slump in relief that he had not completely misread her age. That's just funny. That's just real funny. And yeah, we surprisingly get very little time with Shirayuki in the present this month, or this 2-month period, I guess. Because one thing before I go further into my analysis is that once again we're off next month, or this month now that it's March. So is that just kind of going to be the standard from now on? I've noticed that ever since that first bi-monthly thing, the chapters have gotten longer. They used to be low 30s, and now they're mid 40s. This one's only 41, I think, but still. So I don't know if that's just going to be the new standard because it's bi-monthly now. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. Who knows? We'll just kind of take it as it comes. Anyway, we don't get a lot of time, as I was saying, with Shirayuki, and there is kind of the big thing that just kind of bothers me, is that in everything Eisetsu should have told them about Kageya last time. He didn't mention the gardener thing, especially given that perfumes kind of come from plants, largely, especially in this pre-industrial society, and that Shirayuki is a pharmacist, and medicine also largely come from plants in this pre-industrial society. It's really weird that he just wouldn't mention the two things. That's a kind of tool that Shirayuki could put to use. I don't know. Like maybe a part of him is just trying to keep some privacy for Kageya in his, lovelorn self. I don't know. Um, but anyway, the flashback we get is pretty. I don't know. It's nice to like have the plot happen to Ryu and Shuu after they've kind of largely just been sitting at home for the past several months. Um, and I like what we get. I'm trying to think of anything in particular to say. I like kind of Shuu and Yosumi's, we're the adults. Given the series subject matter, and that Ryu is such a gifted pharmacist, it's kind of easy to forget that he's a kid. But he is, and Shuu and Yozumi are just like, yeah, you are a child. We are the adults. You have never picked up a sword in your life. As we kind of see, his reaction after they leave to go save him, he's like panicking. We like Sarada is the author's name, I think, right? But I remember that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Sarada. Sarada specifically draws out the thump 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 as Ryu watches them go, which I think is pretty important. And he's just like, what do I do? He's just kind of freaking out here. The one thing I can't quite work out is why does the chase, like I can kind of vaguely see the connection between this incident and Chase Them with the singing couple, but it's just like, why does that, like, does he think he's gonna be like the Bandits somehow? I mean, maybe if he's really naive, but Ryu is young and not strong, not stupid. So that's just sort of a weird thing there. I don't know, but he does get the idea to go to the Night Circle for better or for worse. Because you still don't really know what the Night Circle's play is in all this. Are they the Bandits? That's my most likely theory. And maybe Ryu, as like someone who's kind of largely dealt with royal life for a good chunk of his life, just couldn't imagine knights as being bad. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. There's still some fuck if I know going on in the backgrounds of this arc. But by and large, this chapter was a lot of fun. Moving the plot along in good ways, giving some good Ryu moments. I love Ryu's just panic. He eventually kind of pulled himself together a little bit, but not entirely. As he's like kind of seeing bloodshed for I think really the first time. And then yeah, he runs into Kageya, and hopefully Kageya, given like Kageya I think is kind of guarded around Eisetsu due to their history. But Ryu is just some boy, and I think with him, she might show a little bit of her true self. But yeah, we'll have to wait 2 more months for that. Yeah, I don't know. A lot here. There is just a whole lot in this chapter, and it's all pretty damn good. So yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!